But it actually only got easier once I told people about it. I didn't feel shame afterwards. Of course, I was nervous before, but it was no problem like telling anyone about it. Join a community as quick as possible. I don't know why a person wouldn't do that, because it would only benefit them.
What's going on, Reboot team? I am here with somebody very special who's coming to us straight from the Reboot implementation program, and he's here to speak to us today about his experience. So first of all, Jacob, always good to see you, buddy. How are you today?
Thank you. Good to see you too. I'm fucking great today.
All right.
It was sun out today, so I'm very happy.
That's awesome, man. I thank you for your time and thank you for making the time to talk about your experience. First things first, how did you first find the program?
I was actually in Spotify, and I was just searching for interesting podcasts about the action. And the first option was the podcast. So I got there, I listened to, I think, maybe 200 episodes. And so I knew like that elevator recovery existed for a long time. And I knew it existed, but I didn't have the courage to seek out help there. Until I hit some kind of bottom, or I just realized that I couldn't beat this addiction on my own. So I took the step and wrote to JK Macy directly, actually, and he replied. So now I'm here, basically.
There it is. Thank you for sharing that. If you don't mind, what was that bottom moment like for you?
I had experienced it before, but it was just basically a normal for me, or a slip. And every time I slipped since I realized I had this addiction, I took one extra step to freedom. Maybe the first time was just realizing that I had a problem. Next time was maybe telling a friend. Next time was maybe telling another friend, trying to search for information on how to get free. And so on and so on. And one of the steps was seeking real help, real professional help. And I had sought it before. Actually, I was going to elevator recovery, but I didn't get the results that I was searching for. So I had to change my strategy. After many tries and many and many slips, I ended up here. And I'm very happy that I took the step.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And it's interesting you say that, because that's a very common tale. All those guys that have been through addictions like ours, we've tried this, we've tried that, we've tried that group, we've tried that program. But from your own experience, having been in the group for a while now, you said that you were really happy that you took this step. Why is that?
Because it has helped me a lot. And besides from like everything else I've tried, this has actually given me great results. The other things I tried, they were not necessarily bad, but it was like so small steps towards freedom. It was just feeling like I was running in a circle. But this time it was really different in many ways. So
that's really cool.
I've progressed immeasurably in my reboot.
Very awesome. That's so encouraging to hear. So take me through the moment where you found yourself like at this bottom moment, just slipping over and over, and you made the decision to jump into the group. You're like, all right, I'm going to be part of the group. What has your experience been like as a member of the implementation program?
I felt very welcome, actually, to the group. And it was, in general, I'm a not so social person, and I'm actually quite scared to meet new people. But it was like I was able to just cross my comfort zone in some way. And I think that was because everybody was so welcoming. And in some way it just felt easy to just jump into the group. It didn't feel heavy, other things I used to do. So that was one of my experience. Everybody was very welcome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you felt like a welcome member of the community. Pretty much.
Definitely directly.
That's really cool. What have been some of the tips, tools, and techniques that you've learned so far during your time in the program?
I especially learned tools to handle like difficult feelings, or I used to deal with anxiety and stress a lot, and also a little bit boredom has also been like a feeling that has put me off track. So before, when I have tried quitting on my own, I had like boundaries that I should stick to. but I could never stick to them. That was the problem. And yeah, I just use this like willpower thing where I just try to decide, just okay, don't do this, and I could keep it for a week, which isn't bad without tools. But now it's very different because now I can I can handle my feelings in a different way. And I think that is one of the big things that has helped me from the group and the time here in Elevated Recovery.
Talk about that. How do you go about managing your feelings now?
I have just changed my habits because I'm very self-aware right now. When a feeling pops up, I know that will trigger me. I know that when that feeling comes, urge will come, and I know when a bad feeling come, I will try to like chase these fast dopamine kicks. So I'm very self-aware of that. And yeah, I don't know if it makes the whole thing easier, but I know what I should do. It's like, yes, now is this moment where this feeling comes up. Okay, I've been here before. I know exactly how my body's going to react. Okay, what am I going to do different now compared to the last times? And the different things are all the tools. And there are many tools. And if I should be honest, I don't use all of them. I have some like favorite tools that I stick to.
What are some of your favorite tools?
My favorite tool is definitely dialoguing. That's a great tool. It helps me a lot, and especially dialoguing with my essential self. Yeah, and it's making me feel very calm. And I've never experienced that kind of thing, like talking to myself when I'm stressed, and still getting calmed down by my stressed self. Because when I get stressed, I can't think. But I can use this dialogue with my higher essential self, and I'm very happy for that. And that is definitely my number one tool. And I also like the irrational thoughts exercise. And I think it's quite similar to dialogue with my essential self, because it's like, yeah, just both of them are basically exercise where I try to see like rational view of the situation, I would say.
Sure.
And that is what I need to do when I have anxiety, stress, because I overthink things and see them from what they are not.
So good, man. So good. For somebody that may not have heard of that tool before, can you talk a little bit about your experience with dialoguing with your essential self? What does that mean? What's your experience like with that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can try to do that. So you can have you have sub-personalities. And I would say that's like different personalities of yours. So you can have a personality that comes up when you're very stressed, or when you feel anxious, and so on. So they are like, I would say they come up when you feel different feelings. Yeah. And there's like also a sub-personality, or a sub-personality called like your essential self, which is like yourself at your very best. So for me is Jacob when he is calm and he knows what decisions to take. And I'm actually very surprised that I can talk to this version of myself when I feel very stressed.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was possible before when I was like reading about the exercise. But I find myself that I can actually find my essential self many times when I'm stressed. I wouldn't say I can always find him. Sometimes when I'm like super stressed, it can be very hard to do it. And during those moments, I actually try to dialogue with another, a like bad sub-personality. So if I feel very stressed and I can't find my essential self because I'm just, my heart is beating, I'm just trying to listen to the bad sub-personality, which is making me stressing in that moment. Yeah, so that is basically the exercise.
I thank you for sharing that. Dialoguing was an absolute game changer for me. As soon as I first learned about it, such a good thing. And I love how you spoke extensively about your growing self-awareness, right? Like we say in the group about 100 times a day, the goal is not just to quit porn or quit your compulsive sexual behavior. Obviously, that's what got us into this group to begin with. But one of the ultimate missions is to become what? An expert at yourself. So when you do that dialoguing with your essential self or your essence, you have a conversation with your ideal self. Like you said, Jacob when he's calm. It's like, oh, what would he do in this situation? What would he say? Let me listen to that part. And just getting in touch with that and getting to know that part of you like intimately, to the point where you know what it takes to get there. You know what it takes to get yourself to the best version of yourself, to the point where any compulsions or behaviors that you came into the group with just naturally dissipate, naturally go away. And one of the best ways is to, like you said, get together in community. And one of the ways we do that is getting together with an expert coach and talk about like different topics like trauma recovery, mindset, of course, addiction. I'm curious, what's your experience been like in the group coaching calls?
Yeah, the group coaching calls, I like them very much. Yeah, also a great example where I felt very welcome. And it's just been like, it's felt easy, not heavy being there. I've been able to talk, I've been able to talk if I want. The leader have asked me questions, which I'm very thankful for. So it's been a very welcome feeling welcoming feeling in the group. And it's also, of course, you can write to all these people on the Facebook group, and that is great. But it's also a different thing when you feel all faces and all expressions and really see that there are all or many human beings that struggle with this problem. There's one thing like knowing that there's like millions of people struggling with this, but there's a different thing like seeing all the faces and seeing their expressions and seeing that they're like real human beings having the same problems with me. And I'm very thankful for that perspective.
That's really cool. It's the realization that like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone in this. There are other guys, like you said, that are struggling through the same exact things that I am. Like, it is really, I've used this word a couple times, it absolutely is a game changer to be able to interact face to face with somebody who is going through it just like you and I are, figuring it out. They're succeeding, there's a slip here or there, but they're on the same journey as you. That's so encouraging. I did want to ask you, what's a typical kind of interview question, but I am sincerely curious. Thinking about where you were at that bottom, like you described, when you first joined the group, I know that bottom all too well. All of us know that bottom all too well, where we were just struggling in silence and not knowing where to turn for help. If you were to see somebody who had been struggling in silence the way you and I have, would you have any type of advice or things you'd like to say to that person, knowing what you know now and having experienced what you've experienced?
Of course, my easy answer would be like, okay, just search help and try to search for your help in especially elevator recovery. But there were numerous people telling me that exact same thing on the podcasts. So I don't think it's that easy, actually, and it's hard to actually convince someone to say exactly what they would do. But one thing in the beginning, when I was like totally silent about this problem, I felt, of course, I felt a lot of shame because it felt like I was the only one having this problem. But it actually only got easier once I told people about it. I didn't feel shame afterwards. Of course, I was nervous before, but there was no problem like telling anyone about it. But yeah, I would tell them, join a community as quick as possible. And I don't know why a person wouldn't do that, because it will only benefit them. And the only reason I can come up with why to not do is maybe because it's maybe a little bit shameful. But my experience is that all the shame goes away as soon as you become honest about your problem. And so that was what I like. That's what I can tell those people being in this like rock bottom situation, or or in a situation where they like just don't know what to do with their problem. Find a community, get help as quick as possible. That will save your life.
So good. The speaking becomes the salvation. Where, like you said, like it's once you started to be more honest about it and join a community, there was the realization that oh wait, it is a safe area for me to talk about what I'm going through, ask questions without worrying about being shamed for it. And
exactly.
like you said, there are guys from all around the world having very similar doubts, similar questions. Yeah. So good. I love it. So in which case, I guess you answered my question earlier, but with all of that being considered, would you recommend this program to somebody who might be struggling?
Definitely, of course, I would recommend it. It has helped me, and it has helped like thousands of people. So, or without even asking me, it has helped thousands of people. That should be enough because you gain so much knowledge about yourself, and you can get free from a very destructive behavior. And how much wouldn't you pay for that? It has turned like people's life from a really shitty life to a high performance men. And I would just be happy if I could pay for that.
Yeah, compared to having a rebooted mind, invaluable. You are worth investing in. The fact that, Jacob, you're here and having gone through this process and are continuing to learn and continuing to grow, man, you are someone worth investing into. And anybody who might be watching or listening to this, if all you're doing is listening or watching to this, there's a part of you that knows that you have what it takes to recover and reboot. There's a part of you that knows that there's a bigger life that's calling to you. And if only you can get a grip on this series of behaviors that's proven to be unhealthy for you, you can get closer to, as Jacob describes, your essential self, your essence, the person that you can absolutely be. And like Jacob said, become like that high achieving man. So with all that said and done, Jacob, thank you so much for your time, your perspective. Any last words for anybody who might be listening or watching this?
Take action and save your life. That was like I wouldn't say.
So good, man. Jacob, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.